Welcome to the Golf Spotlight. I'm Ralph Irvin here in our golf shop studio where a year ago I talked about the fitting I'd received at Club Champion Golf. Recently we went back to see the difference in performance between my old clubs and those built by Club Champion to my custom specs. Before we go there though, be sure to click the subscribe button right there and turn on your notifications. You never want to miss one of our exclusive features. We tested the 9-iron, 7-iron, 3 hybrid, 3 wood, and driver just to see what kind of improvements may have occurred over the year. First, let me say this. My amount of play has remained consistent, but due to COVID-19, I've been walking most of my rounds since courses opened up back in May. That said, my handicap has dropped from being just under 10 to now around 6, and really the only changes have been the walking and the clubs. I met up with my fitter, Kip Mungo, at Club Champion, and I wanted to know, what did he want to see?
Primarily, I'm looking to increase the disparity in dispersion so that we have tighter shot patterns. Looking towards ball speeds. With ball speeds, I'm able to get higher smash factors. With higher smash factors, I'm able to get ultimately more distance comes from that because we're hitting it square. When we get to the higher smash factors, our dispersion narrows and our distance is more consistent. So there's not such a big disparity in distance control.
Okay, well, what did he see though? That's the question.
The results of the new irons were very, very similar to what we achieved with the fitting a year ago. The results of his old irons were very similar to what we were seeing a year ago as well. What we found is that we were achieving greater heights, tighter dispersions, a little bit more distance, but primarily the accuracy. And what that does is it improves, well, as you said, Ralph, it improves your scores.
Interestingly, my old 9-iron with a steel shaft was not as stiff as the Fujikura Pro iron shaft in the new set, and it showed.
The steel shaft being heavier, your club speed was reduced comparatively to the lighter graphite shaft. Now the stiffness in the 9-iron on your steel shaft was actually softer than that of your graphite shafts. So when we have a little bit stiffer shaft is that the player swings to load the shaft and you're capable of swinging the club harder than what you originally were because your 9-iron with shafts was a little bit too weak for you, so you were slowing your club head speed. So slow club head speed results in a lack of distance and a lack of control.
The 7-iron results, they were astounding.
Our club head speed on the 7-iron maintained itself all the way through. The performance of the shaft, we achieved higher ball flights, we achieved greater distance by 10-yard differentials in carry. Our spin rates were down, our ball speeds were up. The dispersion was considerably less. So with the new graphite shaft, given the same ball speeds as we were seeing, we had about 12 feet tighter dispersion, both front and back, left and right. So that tightens everything up. But now we're center of the green or aiming at the pins if you have the chance.
If you saw my reviews of the clubs this past spring, you would know that my hybrids have been phenomenal since the upgrade. If you haven't seen it, you should. Here's Kit's take.
We were struggling with the old club to get the ball really airborne. I mean, it was a very low ball flight. It had a high amount of spin with a low ball flight, and that spin was primarily from side spin. The face was not getting square to the ball. Our ball speeds were a lot lower. The smash factor was considerably lower. Given the same club head speed, we were hitting the ball higher, our landing angles were steeper, and our dispersion was considerably less. The square club face was giving us much straighter shots, tighter dispersion.
When he fit me for the 3-wood, his intent was to make it a club I wanted to hit. And boy did he. I love this Sim 3-wood.
In the old golf club, we were playing a 70-gram shaft in our 3-wood, right? We went to a 50-gram shaft in this 3-wood. So our club head speed went up a couple of miles an hour, which you would expect to happen with a lighter club, but with just a little bit stiffer shaft, gives us tighter dispersion. Our ball speeds were up considerably again. Still maintaining a higher ball flight. We're launching it higher. Carry distance was about 20 yards in terms of carry with a much higher ball flight.
The driver was interesting because in testing, my M3 head performed best even over newer models, but the shaft needed an upgrade into a Fujikura Ventus Blue.
In this case, the driver shaft in the old golf club was considerably light. It was in the 45 gram range, which is too light for Ralph to swing. He was backing off of it a little bit, and it was causing the ball to go too high, start out too high in the launch. Our spin rates were through the roof, 5,200, creating too high of a ball flight and too high of a launch angle, too steep of a landing angle. Distance and our carry total were almost the same, like you would expect with a 6-iron almost. So as we went to the heavier shaft, it provided more clubhead speed. A little bit stiffer shaft gave us a lower ball flight, much lower spin. Carry distance, once again, 20 yards, 22 yards, and lower ball flight. So the ball coming in at a much lower angle created, in essence, 20 yards roll versus his old club, which had 10 yards roll.
Kit said I had a little bit of a distance gain. Yeah, that's an understatement. Going from a 4-yard improvement in my 9-iron to a 24-yard gain by simply moving from the Fujikura Speeder Evo 5 to the Fujikura Ventus Blue. And that was just in carry. The total distance was a 34-yard gain. And that change epitomized the entire process because the shaft really is the key.
When I'm fitting, I start with the shaft to create higher ball speeds. Once I get the higher ball speeds, then I'll be working with different heads and lofts, get our launch angles dialed in, face angles for dispersion and control, but primarily we're working with the shaft first.
Here you can see the numbers once again, and while carry gains were awesome, notice that my ball flew higher as well with every club in the bag, excluding the driver. And of course, we already know what kind of distance gains we had with that club. Also, my dispersion was a lot tighter with every club. Overall, it's just simply amazing. Now, I want to thank Kip Mungo and everyone at Club Champion Golf for helping with this look back. This holiday season, Club Champion Golf has special offers on all of their fittings, so check them out at clubchampiongolf.com. Again, we ask you to click that subscribe button down below. It's right there. Turn on those notifications so you never miss an episode of the Golf Spotlight. Be sure to leave your questions and comments down below. I always respond to any questions you may have. Follow us on Twitter at Golf Spotlight and follow us on Instagram at The Golf Spotlight. Again, just like here, we respond to all of your messages. Subscribe to our podcast, The Range, as we talk to the great creators in the world of golf. In fact, we should be catching up with Kip Mungo in a future episode. You can find The Range on iTunes, iHeart, Spotify, wherever you find your favorite podcasts. But finally, we want to thank you for joining us here on the Golf Spotlight as we continue to give you the information that you need for your next golf purchase.